You are walking on the beach, perhaps on the Jersey Shore, and you find a strange, bone-like object. It looks like a spine or a jaw, but it has thick, molar-like teeth embedded in it. It smells terrible, like rotting fish. It doesn't look like a normal fish skeleton. The teeth look almost like flat cobblestones. Does anyone know what this could be? These are the pharyngeal teeth of a black drumfish, Pogonias chromis, or a similar species like the freshwater drum. Unlike most fish that have sharp teeth for grabbing prey, drumfish have these massive, flat crushing plates located in their throat, pharynx. They use these powerful grinders to crush the shells of clams, oysters, and crabs, which make up their diet. When the fish dies and decomposes, these hard, durable jaw plates wash up on the beach, often confusing beachcombers who think they found a fossil or a mammal jaw. Walking along a river trail, you spot a massive, rusted metal cylinder lying in the brush. It is huge, 5 or 6 feet long, and appears partially hollow. It looks like a piece of a submarine or an old boiler, with riveted plates and corroded holes. You can faintly make out letters stamped on the side, maybe starting with Dame. It looks heavy, industrial, and very old. Does anyone know what this could be? This is an antique river buoy, or a channel marker. Before modern plastic navigation aids, buoys were made of heavy riveted steel. They were chained to the riverbed to mark safe shipping channels or warn of hazards. The Dame lettering you saw is likely part of a longer word like damage, referring to liability, or a manufacturer's mark. After decades in the water, the chains often break during floods, and these heavy metal beasts wash ashore, where they rust away, looking like ancient torpedoes to passing hikers. You might find an old tube of lipstick in a drawer that hasn't been touched in a year. When you twist it up, the surface is covered in strange, elevated white dots or a frosty coating. It looks exactly like mold, and your first instinct is probably to throw it directly in the trash to avoid an infection. But is it actually ruined? Does anyone know what this could be? This phenomenon is called wax bloom, and it is surprisingly harmless. It occurs when changes in temperature cause the liquid waxes inside the lipstick formula to crystallize and migrate to the surface. It looks unappealing, but it is not mold or bacteria. You can usually wipe it off, or simply use the lipstick, and the heat from your skin will melt the crystals back in. A good rule of thumb for safety is the smell test. If the lipstick smells like old crayons, the oils have gone rancid and it should be tossed. If it smells normal, the bloom is just a cosmetic flaw. You might walk past a house and see vinyl siding that looks like a surrealist painting. The siding hasn't burned away, but it has sagged and melted into drooping, wavy lines, exposing the wall beneath in a bizarre fashion. It looks like the house started to melt on a hot day, but the damage is localized to just one area. What could cause siding to deform like this? This distinctive melting pattern is the aftermath of a nearby high heat event, most commonly a car fire in the driveway. Vinyl siding is durable against weather, but it has a relatively low melting point, often starting to warp at around 160 to 165 degrees Fahrenheit. If a vehicle parked near the house catches fire, the radiant heat can easily reach these temperatures across the driveway gap. The siding doesn't catch fire directly, but it softens and droops under its own weight, creating this melted candle appearance. It's a classic sign of a thermal incident that was close, but not close enough to ignite the structure. You are cooking dinner and toss some frozen green beans into a pan. As they thaw and heat up, they suddenly become covered in a weird, white, frothy substance. It looks almost oily or soapy, or perhaps like a wax coating that is melted off. The bag says 100% green beans with no added sauces or butter, so this residue is alarming. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a completely natural phenomenon caused by starch. Before green beans are frozen industrially, they are blanched, briefly scalded in boiling water or steam, to stop enzyme actions that would cause them to lose flavor and color. This process can cause the beans to release natural starches and proteins to their surface. When you cook them, these starches mix with the water released from the thawing ice, creating a white, foamy, or viscous liquid. It is completely harmless and tasteless, and it usually disappears as the water evaporates or is stirred into the dish. You buy a bundle of sewing supplies and find some strange metal gadgets inside. There are cone-shaped metal pieces, a flat lacer, and a springy clamp. They don't look like standard needles or thimbles. They look like they are meant to guide fabric in a very specific way. Does anyone know what this could be? These are rug braiding tools, specifically a set often made by companies like Braid Aid. The cone-shaped folders are used to fold strips of wool fabric inward as you pull them through, creating a uniform tube for braiding. The clamp holds the braid to a table, so you can pull against it, and the lacer is used to stitch the braided coils together. This craft was hugely popular in early American households for recycling old wool clothing into durable, warm floor rugs. You receive a package, perhaps a high-value electronics item like a monitor, and attached to the box is a strange electronic device. It has a Solo 5G label, blinking lights, and looks like a piece of sophisticated tech. It was stuck on with heavy-duty adhesive. It looks too complex to be trash, but you didn't order it. Is someone tracking you? Does anyone know what this could be? What you found is a Solo 5G supply chain tracker. In the world of modern logistics, companies need to know more than just where a package is. This device monitors real-time location, temperature, humidity, shock, if the box was dropped, and light exposure, if the box was opened, throughout the shipping journey. It uses cellular 5G networks to upload this data to the cloud. They are often used for sensitive or expensive cargo. While they are technically single-use for that specific shipment, they are sophisticated pieces of e-waste that should be recycled properly at an electronics drop-off. You spot a piece of blue plastic debris on the floor. It looks like a torso with a peach-colored patch on the front, but the head, arms, and legs are jaggedly broken off. It looks like a toy that met a violent end, perhaps stepped on or crushed. The colors are very specific, a vibrant blue and a tan belly. Does anyone know what this could be? That tragic piece of plastic is the torso of a Sonic the Hedgehog action figure. The specific shade of blue and the tan oval on the stomach are the iconic markings of Sega's famous mascot. These figures are popular with kids, and the limbs are often the weak points. If a child drops it or steps on it, the ball joints connecting the head and limbs can snap, leaving just the body behind. It's a piece of pop culture detritus, likely dropped by a sad child who is now missing their favorite speedster. You are walking through the lobby of a building and see a group of heavy-looking metal carts parked outside the elevator. They are stacked with thick, rectangular plates and look incredibly dense. Each cart might be labeled with an elevator company name like H&H or Cone. They are just sitting there, seemingly abandoned. Does anyone know what this could be? These are elevator test weights, often called dummy loads. Elevators are required by law to undergo rigorous safety inspections to ensure they can handle their rated capacity. Technicians wheel these carts into the elevator cab to simulate a full load of passengers, typically adding up to thousands of pounds. They test if the brakes hold, if the cables are secure, and if the motor can lift the maximum weight without overheating. Each cart usually weighs 500 pounds when fully loaded, providing a safe and consistent way to stress test the system without using human volunteers. You are in a service area or a loading dock and see a stack of heavy metal plates. They look like giant rectangular bricks of iron, often with a handle cut into the middle. Sometimes they are stacked on a cart labeled Cone or Otis. They look incredibly dense and heavy, far too heavy for a normal person to lift easily. They are just sitting there, seemingly without a purpose. Does anyone know what this could be? These are elevator test weights. As mentioned with the carts, these individual plates are the components used to build up the necessary load. Each plate is calibrated to a specific weight. Elevator technicians use them to verify the counterweight balance and safety mechanisms of the lift. If you see them sitting around, it means the elevator in that building is likely undergoing its annual certification or a major repair. The Cone label refers to the Finnish engineering company that is one of the largest elevator manufacturers in the world. You find a strange gray cable at a thrift store or in a box of electronics. It looks somewhat like a DisplayPort or HDMI cable, but the connector is proprietary and unfamiliar. It might be semi-transparent or very thin. It clearly plugs into a TV, but it doesn't fit any standard port, you know. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a Samsung One Connect cable. It is a proprietary cable designed for high-end Samsung televisions, such as the Frame or QLED models. Instead of plugging HDMI cables and power cords directly into the back of the TV, which looks messy when wall-mounted, Samsung created a separate One Connect box that houses all the inputs. This single, nearly invisible cable carries both the AV signal and the power from the box to the TV. They are expensive to replace, so finding one at a thrift store is a lucky find for someone with a compatible TV. You find a small, pink plastic object in your desk drawer or on the floor. It looks vaguely like a tiny rabbit or a stylized animal. It seems to be made of silicone or soft plastic. It looks like a toy, but something about the shape suggests it might be something else. It's small enough to be discreet, but distinct enough to raise questions. Does anyone know what this could be? What you found is a small, discreet vibrator, often sold as a novelty or a pocket rocket. The specific shape, often resembling a rabbit, is iconic in the adult toy industry. These are sometimes given as gag gifts at bachelorette parties or bought for personal use because of their small size. Finding one in a desk drawer, especially if it's not yours, is certainly awkward, but mystery solved. It is a personal massager, not a dog toy or an eraser. You find a heavy, complex metal mechanism at a park. It looks like a machine part with gears inside, encased in a metal shell. It has a nozzle on one end and looks like it belongs inside a power tool or maybe a weapon. It's clearly mechanical, but finding it lying in the grass is concerning. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a gearbox from an airsoft gun, specifically a version 7 V7 gearbox. This particular shape is used primarily in M14-style airsoft rifles. It houses the gears, piston, and spring that compress air to fire the plastic BBs. It likely fell out of a broken replica during a game, or someone attempted a field repair and left the broken part behind. While it looks technical and gun-like, it is a toy part incapable of firing real ammunition. You are cleaning out an old IT supply room and find a small, handheld device with a keypad. It looks like a calculator, but it has a speaker on the back. It has a brand name related to voicemail or phones. It doesn't plug into anything. It seems like a piece of obsolete tech, but its purpose isn't immediately obvious. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a pocket tone dialer. In the 1970s and 80s, many phone lines were still pulse, rotary dialing, but new services like voicemail and automated banking required touch tone, DTMF, sounds to navigate menus. This device solved that problem. You would call the service on your rotary phone, then hold this device up to the mouthpiece and press the buttons. It would play the corresponding beep-boop tones into the receiver, allowing you to check your messages or enter your bank account number, even from an ancient phone. You see a white metal wire frame at a thrift store or in a cupboard. It has a base and several U-shaped wire dividers that stick up vertically. Some of the wires might be shaped like bottles or have dips in them. It looks like a drying rack, but the spacing is weird and it seems too sturdy for just drying dishes. Does anyone know what this could be? This is an adjustable pot and pan organizer. It is designed to sit inside a kitchen cabinet to solve the age-old problem of stacking heavy cookware. Instead of nesting pans inside each other, which scratches the non-stick coating and makes it hard to get the bottom one out, you slide each pan or lid vertically into the slots created by the wires. The bottle shape or dips in the wires are often designed to accommodate the handles of the lids or pans, allowing them to sit securely without rolling out. It turns a chaotic cupboard into a file cabinet for your cookware. You find a small, heavy ball made of lead or a similar gray metal. It has a hole running through the center, or sometimes a small brass cylinder embedded in the middle. It looks vaguely like an old musket ball, but the hole suggests it was meant to be strung onto something. It's heavy for its size and feels utilitarian. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a fishing sinker, specifically an egg sinker or a sliding weight. Unlike split-shot weights that clamp onto a fishing line, this sinker is designed so the line passes through the hole in the center. This allows the fish to pick up the bait and swim with it without feeling the immediate resistance of the heavy weight, which stays on the bottom. If there is a brass cylinder or plastic tube inside, it is a core, designed to prevent the rough lead from fraying the fishing line. It's a staple in tackle boxes for bottom fishing. You are diving or walking on a beach in the Indo-Pacific region and see a beautiful geometric shell with intricate patterns. It looks like a harmless sea snail, but suddenly a long, fleshy tube or trunk extends from it, pointing right at you. It looks like an alien creature probing its environment. It's fascinating, but you get a bad feeling about touching it. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a cone snail, and it is one of the most venomous creatures on Earth. That trunk is a proboscis, essentially a biological harpoon gun. It can fire a hollow, tooth-like dart filled with a potent neurotoxin capable of paralyzing fish instantly. Several species, like the geography cone, have venom powerful enough to kill a human. They are sometimes nicknamed cigarette snails, the dark joke being that if you are stung, you have just enough time to smoke one cigarette before you die. Never pick up a cone-shaped shell if the animal is still inside. You are exploring the rocky shores of a tropical beach, perhaps in the Caribbean or Puerto Rico, and you see hundreds of these small creatures clinging to the stones near the waterline. They have beautifully patterned shells with zigzag lines or speckles in black, white, and red. They seem frozen in place, clustered together in tight groups. They look like seashells, but they are clearly alive. Does anyone know what this could be? These are sea snails, specifically a species known as the four-toothed nerite, Nerita versicolor. They are extremely common grazers, found in the intertidal zones of the Western Atlantic and Caribbean. They spend their days scraping algae off rocks with a tongue-like structure called a radula. The reason you see them clustered tightly together is for survival. By huddling in groups and sealing their shells against the rock during low tide, they trap moisture inside to prevent drying out under the hot tropical sun until the tide returns. You find a weird, clear cube at a thrift store. Inside, suspended in the resin or glass, is a blob of dark, yellowish-black liquid. It looks viscous, like molasses. Even stranger, there is a label embedded inside that reads, "Endangered Species." It seems like a grim joke or a political statement, but without context, it's just a baffling object. Why would someone trap a blob of goo in a cube? Does anyone know what this could be? This is a novelty paperweight containing a sample of crude oil. The endangered species text is a satirical commentary on the finite nature of fossil fuels, implying that oil itself is the endangered species that will one day run out. These were popular desk accessories in the 1970s and 80s, often sold in gift shops in oil-producing regions like Texas or Oklahoma. Some versions even contained liquid gold text. It serves as a time capsule from an era when the conversation about peak oil was just beginning to enter pop culture. A friend gives you a handful of coins that look like currency but aren't. They have the letters HH stamped on them. They feel like real coins, perhaps brass or nickel, but they don't have a country or denomination on them. Are they foreign money? Arcade tokens? Does anyone know what this could be? The HH hallmark stands for Hoffman and Hoffman, now Hoffman Mint, a private mint based in Florida. They specialize in manufacturing tokens for car washes, arcades, laundromats, and promotional events. Unlike government currency, these tokens have no face value outside of the specific business they were made for. The mint mark is there, so business owners can identify who made the tokens if they need to order more and to differentiate them from slugs or washers. You notice a weird vine growing near your fence. It has large, heart-shaped leaves, but the strangest part is that it's growing potato-like balls directly on the vine, hanging in the air. Some are small, some are huge. You break one open, and it looks like a potato inside. Is this edible? Does anyone know what this could be? This is Dioscorea bulbifera, commonly known as the air potato. It is a species of yam, and while some varieties are cultivated for food in Africa and Asia, the wild variety found in the southern U.S., especially Florida, is a highly invasive weed. The potatoes are aerial bulbils, which fall to the ground and sprout new vines, quickly smothering native plants. Most wild varieties are bitter and can be toxic if eaten unprocessed. If you find this in your yard in the US, you are generally encouraged to remove it to protect the local ecosystem. You are peeling potatoes for dinner when you slice into one and find a dark, grayish-black mark deep under the skin, right in the meat of the vegetable. It isn't mushy or smelly like rot, just a dark discoloration that looks unappetizing. It makes you wonder if the whole potato is infected or if it's safe to just cut around it. Does anyone know what this could be? This is simply a bruise, much like you would get on your own skin. It usually happens when the potato is dropped or crushed during harvest, shipping, or storage. The impact damages the cell walls, causing an enzymatic reaction that oxidizes the starch, turning it gray or black. It is commonly known as black spot. While it looks unappealing, it is not a disease or fungus. It is perfectly safe to eat, though the texture might be slightly different. Most people simply cut the dark spot out for aesthetic reasons and cook the rest of the potato as usual. While cleaning out a shed or a box of hardware, you might find a black plastic clip. It has a curved C shape on one side and a flat bracket on the other. It looks like it is designed to snap onto a pipe or a leg, but it was found mixed in with random pipe clamps and screws. It doesn't look like a plumbing part. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a toe kick clip, a specific piece of hardware used in kitchen cabinetry installation. Modern kitchen cabinets often stand on adjustable plastic legs rather than sitting directly on the floor. To hide these legs and the gap beneath the cabinets, a board called a toe kick or plinth is installed. These clips attach to the back of that board and then snap onto the cylindrical cabinet legs. This holds the trim board firmly in place while allowing it to be easily popped off if a plumber needs access to the pipes underneath the cabinets later. You might find a sheet of white, lightweight material in a shipping box. It isn't quite styrofoam, as it is flexible and soft rather than brittle and crunchy. It feels smooth, almost waxy, and you can bend it without it snapping. It seems like waste, but it's clearly engineered for a specific purpose. Does anyone know what this could be? What you found is a sheet of expanded polyethylene, EPE foam. Unlike expanded polystyrene, EPS, which is the brittle, squeaky white styrofoam, EPE is a closed-cell foam known for its shock-absorbing properties and flexibility. It is chemically inert and non-abrasive, making it the industry standard for wrapping delicate items like electronics, glass, or painted surfaces during shipping. It prevents scratches and absorbs impact energy without crumbling into messy beads. While it is technically recyclable, it is often reused for packing away holiday ornaments or dishes because of its durability. You find a few small dark brown seeds sitting on a nightstand or table. They are teardrop-shaped, hard, and have a glossy shell. They look organic, but you can't quite place which fruit or plant they came from. Finding random seeds indoors can be worrying. Is it a sign of rodents, or did someone just leave a snack behind? Does anyone know what this could be? These are apple seeds. They likely ended up there when someone ate an apple and discarded the core, or perhaps picked the seeds out while eating. While they look innocuous, apple seeds are famous for containing a compound called amygdalin. When chewed and digested, amygdalin degrades into hydrogen cyanide. However, the hard outer shell usually allows them to pass through the digestive system intact. Even if chewed, you would need to finely crush and eat hundreds of seeds at once to suffer any ill effects, so finding a few on a nightstand is perfectly safe. You're looking at your backpack straps and notice a strange, diamond-shaped or square plastic patch with two vertical slots in it. It looks like a logo, but it feels sturdy, like it's meant to hold something. It's sewn tightly onto the fabric, usually on the shoulder strap or the front face of the bag. It seems useful, but you aren't sure what fits in it. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a lash tab, often referred to as a pig snout, due to its appearance. Originally designed for outdoor gear, it allows you to attach extra equipment to the outside of your pack. You can thread a webbing strap through the slots to tie down a sleeping bag, or use a carabiner to clip on keys, a water bottle, or a flashlight. While they were popularized by heritage outdoor brands like Herschel or Jansport for carrying ice axes or gear, today they are often a stylistic nod to rugged hiking culture, even on school backpacks. You find a strange blue sphere on your driveway about the size of a tennis ball. It feels sticky to the touch, almost waxy, and has a distinct chemical smell like silicone or rubber. It might be squishy, but it's tough. If you found it years ago, it might have looked like a mysterious alien egg or a piece of industrial waste dropped from a truck. Does anyone know what this could be? What you found is an old, degrading racquetball. Specifically, blue racquetballs are a standard type used in the sport. Over time, especially when exposed to UV light from the sun and outdoor elements, the synthetic rubber material begins to break down. This degradation process causes the ball to sweat plasticizers and oils, making the surface sticky and giving off that strong, pungent chemical odor. While it looks like toxic waste, it's just a piece of sports equipment that has reached the end of its chemical lifespan. You find a fabric patch with an intricate design. It features a dragon, the International Space Station, and Roman numerals. It looks like official mission insignia, but you aren't an astronaut, so finding it on the ground during a walk is surprising. It clearly commemorates something specific involving space travel. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a mission patch for SpaceX's Crew 7 or Expedition 70 mission to the International Space Station, ISS. Space agencies and private companies like SpaceX create unique patches for every mission, filled with symbolism representing the crew and their goals. These patches are worn on flight suits, but are also sold as souvenirs to the public or given to employees. Finding one on the ground likely means a space enthusiast or a SpaceX employee dropped it from their bag or jacket. It represents the modern era of commercial spaceflight. You find a tiny metal object on your car's floor mat. It is cylindrical, about the size of a grain of rice, with a little pin in the middle and a red or black rubber seal. It looks like a piece of precision machinery. Did it fall out of your shoe? Is your car falling apart? Does anyone know what this could be? This is a Schrader valve core. It is the critical internal mechanism that sits inside the valve stem of your car, or bicycle tire. The little pin in the center is what you press to let air out. If you found it on your floor mat, it likely fell out of the tread of your shoe after you walked through a parking lot or a garage. It didn't fall off your car, because if this piece was missing from your tire, you would have had a flat tire instantly. You find a glass bottle or a can with a logo that looks like a water wheel or a sunburst. The brand name seems to start with PA. It contained a bubbly alcoholic liquid, but you can't quite place the brand. It was bought in a grocery store, but it doesn't look like a major beer or wine label. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a can of Pampelonne sparkling wine cocktail. The brand is known for its chic, French Riviera-inspired branding and the distinctive logo. They produce canned cocktails like French 75s, Rosé Lime, and Blood Orange Spritzes. It's a ready-to-drink, RTD beverage designed to offer a more sophisticated alternative to beer or hard seltzer. The name comes from the famous Pampelonne Beach in Saint-Tropez, France, aiming to evoke that summer beach vibe. You see a statue in a neighbor's yard or on a wall. It depicts a bearded man in robes, holding a book or a staff. It looks religious, perhaps like a saint or a bishop. It's weathered and looks like it has been there for a long time. It's clearly a specific figure, not just a generic garden gnome. Does anyone know who this is? Based on the iconography, often a bishop's mitre, hat, a crozier, staff, and 3 gold balls, or a book, this is a statue of Saint Nicholas. He is the historical inspiration for Santa Claus, but is revered in many European cultures as the patron saint of children, sailors, and pawnbrokers. Statues like this are common in Catholic households or gardens as a symbol of protection and generosity. If it's near a gate or wall, it might be placed there to watch over travelers. You are in a school cafeteria or an old building and look up at the ceiling. Instead of normal tiles or smooth plaster, the surface is covered in a weird, gray, foamy-looking texture. It looks lumpy and organic, almost like petrified oatmeal or heavy spray-on insulation. It's everywhere. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a specific type of acoustic treatment known colloquially as banana plaster or acoustic plaster. It was popular in the mid-20th century for dampening noise in large, echoing spaces like cafeterias and auditoriums. The name banana plaster is sometimes a joke about its lumpy texture, but the material is usually a mix of aggregate and binder sprayed onto the ceiling. It is harmless, unless it contains asbestos, which should always be checked in old buildings, but it is notoriously difficult to clean or paint over once installed. You find a small brass pendant shaped like a turban or a wheel. It is about 30 millimeters in diameter and covered in foreign markings or script. It looks spiritual or mystical, perhaps like a coin, but it has a loop for wearing. It feels heavy and significant. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a Thai Buddhist amulet, specifically a rowel or wheel-shaped amulet. These are often associated with the Dharma chakra or wheel of law, representing the Buddha's teachings. They are believed to bring good luck, protection, and prosperity to the wearer. The script is likely Pali or Thai, offering blessings or mantras. These amulets are extremely popular in Thailand, where they are collected, traded, and worn by people from all walks of life for spiritual protection. What was the weirdest object for you? Let me know in the comments and share this to test your friends. If you love uncovering these mysteries, hit like and subscribe. Your support helps us find more curious explorers like you. Stay curious.